guys, welcome back to the Black Travel Nurse. Before you say anything, I know, we have been gone for a long time, but a lot has been going on. Very quickly, I can see if I can sum it up for you.
But I moved back from LA to the Bay Area, worked in the Bay Area for a bit, moved back from the Bay Area to home. My clinicals were in DC, so I moved back home and did a local travel assignment there in DC. Stopped the local travel assignment, finished up clinicals, went on a Black Travel Nurse vacation. Graduated from school, started the interview process, accepted a per diem RN position, so started working as a per diem RN, accepted an NP position, which will start later this year, passed my board.
But I will be moving back to the West Coast very shortly in just a few months, so I'm very excited to take you guys on that journey with me. So based on the title, you pretty much know what's going on in this video. I will be talking about our current pandemic, COVID-19. This is not going to be very, very detailed because I want to protect the privacy of others, HIPAA. And I don't want to scare anyone. I just want to give you my perspective, my experience of working as an RN during this pandemic. So let's start off how it was for me, especially when it first was happening, everything was getting shut down. It was a very scary experience because while everyone was at home, we as nurses and as healthcare providers and as essential workers were expected to go to work. In the hospital, it was scary because COVID-19 is there. You're there with it. Everyone's coming. Everyone thinks they have symptoms. Everyone's getting tested, and you're trying to just not catch it. You guys know that I'm a pediatric ICU nurse. Sometimes I do regular pediatric ICU, and sometimes I do cardiac ICU for children. But I've never been floated to the adult ICU until this pandemic. And that was very scary. It was just a whole different world. Adult ICU is just a whole different beast. I'm sure if an adult ICU nurse came to the PICU, they will say the same thing. It's just totally different. You're out of your element and it's just new for you. So I was definitely floated to that unit. And, working as a travel nurse, I'm used to being in foreign, units and having to adapt, ask questions. Because at the end of the day, all you know is that you're a nurse. You have to take care of your patients, but you don't know where these things are and what this particular unit does. So you have to ask questions to kind of do everything according to policy. So definitely in a foreign space, and everyone, from what I saw when I was there, I would say 95% of the patients were on the ventilator. Every single person on that floor had COVID-19, so it's you can't escape it. And 95% of the patients were on the ventilator. And actually they were prone too. I won't say 95% were prone, but a lot of them were prone, meaning they were on the ventilator and they were laying on their stomach. Also, what I've noticed too is that it was DC, the hospital that I'm at, but a lot of the patients were Black. So that really prompted me to I'm in school now, so I was doing a data set project on any topic that I wanted, and I chose the racial disparities or the disproportions of COVID-19. And I was able to see, the stats from every state and the stats overall, and it was just alarming. But based off those stats and what I saw, it was true. All right, next thing, running out of supplies. Now, there was a shortage in various parts of the country because of COVID-19. For us in particular, before this whole pandemic, if we were to wear an N95 mask, we would throw it away each time. You go in the room, you're in the room for 15 minutes, you finish, you throw away your mask, and that's it. It's in the trash can. And so we were doing that at first, and then, we're starting to run out of supplies, so we started keeping the mask for the whole shift. So we would use our masks, take off our PPE properly, and then save our mask. Keep it in a brown paper bag by the door of the patient's room, and that would be your mask for the day. And then we started recycling. So after our shift, we'll toss our mask in this recycling bin. They would get sterilized and then brought back to us. So it's been a definite change in how we used to practice and how, we had all these things so freely, and then it becoming a shortage. I know other places ran out of gowns. Certain places ran out of ventilators. So they were picking and choosing who was going to be on a ventilator. I didn't personally experience that, but that's just very, very, very scary. Next thing, strict visitation. People are walking around asymptomatic. We don't know who has the disease unless we test everybody. So visitation was very strict in the hospital. When I was in the adult ICU, I didn't see and I work at night, maybe it's because I work at night, but I didn't see not one visitor. And that kind of was very, very, very hurtful. You know, they want to be by their loved one's side, but they're scared. You know, a whole floor has COVID. But just to, I don't know, like to be alone and on the ventilator is just really sad and really does not sit right with me. I know for my unit, we definitely cracked down on our visitation policy. Only one person can be at the bedside at all times. And if it's parents, they have to switch out. If you have symptoms, you have to go. Next is advancing quickly or just advancing during this pandemic. So a lot of new nurses, their first time being nurses was during this pandemic. How scary, you know, with everything going on. But, you know, when you're a new nurse, you have to go through orientation. And so that's just a period of time where you're working with another more seasoned nurse and they're showing you the way and trying to develop your nursing skills. And during this pandemic, a lot of, and I'm not saying where I particularly work, but just all over the country, a lot of nurses had to come off orientation early because the census required more nurses. So they were forced to fly quickly. My thing with that is just, if you feel like you're ready, go for it. If you feel like you've been taught properly, go for it. You know, we do need the nurses. But if you feel like you need more time, which a lot of people feel like they need more time in general, but if you really feel like you need more time, advocate for more time. These are people's lives that we're talking about. It's very important that this is taken seriously. It needs to be taken seriously. So talk to your unit educator, talk to your manager if you truly feel like you're being advanced way too quickly. Also advancing, I know for me in particular, I was able to learn how to be charge nurse. I never thought I would be charge nurse because I became an NP. You know, I haven't started my NP position, but you know, I was a nurse for 2 years and I did travel nursing because I'm bouncing from place to place. Like no one's gonna make me charge nurse, you know. I would be resource nurse a lot, but never charge. But I was required to be charged. You know, I learned how to be charged and that's just a whole different beast, honestly. So maybe I'll talk about that in another video. Staying clean and COVID free. Now listen, y'all. If you know me, you know that I am a germaphobe. So COVID-19, you know, in my mind, I was going absolutely crazy. So when I was working on the COVID units, the units that only had COVID patients, I for sure, you know, went and wore hospital scrubs and not my own scrubs because I didn't want to bring that home. So I would, you know, beginning my shift, before I even start, go to the hospital basement, get some extra small scrubs, change my clothes, and then start my shift. We are always required, even now, we're required to wear a procedural mask throughout your shift. And then if you're going into a patient that's on airborne precautions, which COVID patients are, then we would wear an N95. I would wear hair covers. I would have like a surgical bonnet, you know. I didn't really wear my hair out like this. Oh my gosh, I hope that piece was not showing this whole time. But if I was, I would just like pin my hair up and then put a bonnet on for the whole shift. Shoe booties, everything. I would wash my hands all the time. I know people ask me like, why aren't your hands dry? Like you wash your hands all the time as a nurse. And every time I wash my hands, I lotion my hands because I do not want to walk around with white hands. I think that's crazy. And then when I got home, I had this whole system going. Before COVID-19, I would come off a night shift, I would eat, then take my shower and go to sleep. Now, like when I come home, I take all of my, if I worked on a COVID unit, I would take all of my clothes off in the garage. Every single thing. I had like a box in the garage for my COVID clothes. And a full week for me is 3 days. I work my 3 days, throw all my clothes in there, and then at the end of the 3 days, I would wash the clothes. Go straight to the shower, and then I would come and eat and then sleep. So yes, that's just a brief overview of what my experiences were, you know, during this pandemic, which is still ongoing. Let me know your experiences in the comment section. I will be reading them. I'm excited to read them. If you have any questions, you can always drop those there too. And just stay tuned. A lot will be going on the next few months, so I want to make sure that I take you guys with me and that we do this together. If you have not already, if you didn't listen to me before, subscribe. Go ahead and like the video and share it, and we will see you next time.